Dun, dun, dun. First and only, Mr. Painless. Oh. Sorry, didn't know you were like waiting me to start. Had to get something to drink and get rid of some tea. I don't think there's anybody in here. There's like a 6 million hour. Here's Chipper and Aid and Rob taking a shower. Apparently. And Carol and we'll have to say hi to Rob later after he gets through playing with his rubber ducky. I got his little rubber ducky and G.I. Joe in there in the bathtub. Carol's eating. Sorry. I forget that when you enter the studio, it puts it out there. Oh, we were up to 5. People dropping out already. That hurts my feelings. I wondered which 2 people left the stream. It's probably Chipper. Chipper probably left. Chipper probably don't want to talk to us. Chipper and Rob probably left. Or honestly, it was probably bots or something. I heard Biddy. I think my counter up there is the best. I don't really have a topic. I just noticed that nobody had gone live from our little group, so I figured I'd go live. I mean, there's some other people live, but nobody that particularly interesting. Not that they're not interesting, but there's not particularly. Well, Deep South's pretty good. What did the world did you do that for, Walter? I wasn't on purpose, was it? I centered my truck on the beach one time on a purpose. He shouldn't have been there. Took a while for him to wiggle his way out from under. What, Sadie? That was funny. Oh, forgot to get you more begging strips. You know, if I'd have never started rubbing your neck and you come in here pestering me, you wouldn't come in here and do it all the time. Cursing me that it's too late to stop now. Bonding with your daughter by getting the truck stuck. That works. Mudding's usually a pretty good way to do that. Something. I almost got high centered at the lake a few weeks ago. The guys that don't realize that if you'll just give it a day, you don't have to drive through the mud, and then the roads will be okay. Have ruined several of the roads going in the backside of the lake, so you've got to ride on the top of the ruts, and I slid off. It was a tense moment there, but I got a decent bounce and got some traction. If I was rich, I'd just go out there. I'd ruin their days. I'd just go out there with a dump truck and drive there to those places that they've destroyed and put crushed rock in there, and then they would never be able to do that again. Yeah, I think I'm going to install my winch on my truck because it just makes more sense having it on the truck. Because reasons. Went to a baby shower today. It's like, I think that's actually the first one of those I've ever been to. It's weird. It's kind of fun though. There's cake and barbecue. So what do y'all know that's good? This is mostly me just checking in with y'all because people were starting to wonder if I'd fallen off the planet or something. Carol's eating finger food, which could be interpreted several different ways. Did it drop down to 68 already, Carol? I don't even know what the temperature is outside here. It was warm today, though. Oh, okay. We have some light rain in the forecast. We don't have any heavy stuff. Oh, how's everybody doing on their food preps? Everybody still slowly gathering. Oh, I went to the store the other day. I needed air filters, air filters for the Toyota. Got the air filters and $35 worth of groceries. Just cause. Well, keep working on it, Chippy. You can probably make them mad if you try hard enough. If you work at it, if you really put yourself, you can't expect things to happen if you're not willing to do the work. You can't just assume that because you deserve animosity that you're going to receive the animosity. Okay, you have to you have to you have to generate the loathing and the hate. You can't just, it just doesn't happen on its own. Okay, it's something you have to work for. Hey, Mark. Completely non-politically correct and insensitive and off color and ugly and mean and disgusting joke coming. My humblest apologies. This is comedy. Ahmed, the dead terrorist, and type stuff for reference and what comedy is. Um, the saw an interview by Simone Biles' ex-boyfriend, and he was said that he's always known she was a quitter. Oh. Um, I don't care. It doesn't matter what she's endorsed by or whatever. That's not getting into my money. That's um, yeah. All right. Kill him all the way, permanently. That, that there's no way it should have made it in there that many times. Is there a wrench in here? Hey, Clifford. There'll be more. There, it's already back. The thing about it is, I can't help but think it's either one of a certain group or an individual that we all know and love. Yep. Well, considering she's part of the group, I wouldn't doubt it. That would have been, both statements would have been true. Let me see if I can do that. Maybe I'll have to be a pain in the butt. The there are individuals out there that have no life, unfortunately. Um, I'm going to have to. I haven't done anything with the settings over here, and that's they can't do that on the other one because I have certain words blocked. Uh, I didn't need this. Where's that other one? Let's see if that makes it better and for us and no fun for them. Hey, Aaron. I was just Blazing Saddles and Jerry Lewis. Can you imagine if Jerry Lewis tried to put out any of the movies he put out today? I mean, most of his humor was based off of a mentally challenged person. There's no freaking way. That was not the how, the who, the what's that I would have liked to have started this. Gonna get a little loop back because I just opened another window. Hold on. I gotta take care of some. This is the easiest way to take care of the channel stuff, I think, maybe. If it'll load. Poor computer. Let's see. Gotta take care of some. This is painting. Do I? I was coming to see how many of these guys were blue in here. That's exactly the way we do it there. Yeah, Rob, that was you being doing all that trolling stuff, wasn't it? I'll worry about making another moderator later. My head's killing me already. Pathetically slow. Put my phone in. Anyways. What were we talking? We weren't talking about anything yet. We were going to start talking about stuff, and then Waffle Stomper came in. Um, just for future reference, if we figure out somebody's Billy Bird in here, I don't care what the name is. Just there's just yeah. There's no sense in being belligerent just for the sake of being belligerent. It just ruins everybody's day. That's it. Oh, He knows what I'm talking about. Can't go to any of the live streams anywhere without having to put up with it. It's just, I'm done with it. And anybody that wants to like quit watching my channel or whatever for it, feel right ahead. Anybody else wants to jump in their corner and do the same thing, I know you're trolling this stuff and hearing. Feel free to disappear. But way more important things going on in my life than putting up with other people's tomfooleries. I'm probably going to put out a video the next few days. Be after Tuesday. But click the bell. It'll probably be on the big channel. But Aaron, it's probably that Rob won't leave her alone and let her sleep or something. And or Rob's trying to get the phone to ring in her room and it won't or something. Rob's always batching it, but can't never find time to go fishing with me. Just saying. So that's a true statement. Not judging him, saying he's avoiding me or anything like that, or not trying to imply that he doesn't have time for me. It's weird that he's always got something else going on. Even when he doesn't have anything going on. Oh, she's at that. She gets to stay at the cabin, and you gotta stay in the couch shit and change wires and light bulbs and stuff. Yeah. That's what you get. That's what you get, man. I figured out how I didn't win that thing about who knows the baby's mama bestest or whatever. They didn't count they didn't score my paper. They left it out of the stat. I didn't cheat. I put vague answers. None of them could be incorrect. That's not cheating. That's political correctness. Perfectly welcome, Rob. I understand that. Um, we all have stuff we have to put up with. She's up there at the mountain. She gonna take that tap water coming out. It's gonna be cold. We're not talking a cold shower, people. We're talking a frigid shower. But it is summer. She could like put a couple of jugs outside during the day, and they would be warm. She could take a sponge bath or something. I'm staying out of this. Rob probably paid his friend to go by there and take one wire off so it wouldn't work. So he would have to drive up there and fix it. So he'd have an excuse to go to Mexico. Rob's pretty smart. I'm not saying he would like do that because that would be uncool. Or something. I am making taquitos, so you can just pull those out of the freezer and throw them in the microwave. And you're just sorry you didn't think about it. Okay, Beatty. I don't know what we'll be talking about. That my neck popped. Did you hear that? Or was that sound all in my head? I sure hope they're better than those ones you take out and put in the microwave. The missus and the kids all thought those things were like a treat. Mine all went to the dog and I ate ice cream. I don't guess they're the worst thing ever. Close. It would do that, C103. Ha ha ha, Chipper. For those watching the replay, what up? It's C103 watched the guy get baptized today in Cold Mountain River. He was from Florida and never been here before. He said the water shocked the sin out of him. Is there any coffee left? I'm going to have one more cup and that's all. I'm going to have to start drinking decaffeinated coffee in the evenings. I tried to just quit the coffee, but I'll be right back. What I meant to say was, I have a good wife, and I went and got me a cup of water. Well, after Tuesday, when this video, the video I'm talking about will be scripted. There'll be a lot of things that become painfully clear to you people. I don't know how they get the caffeine out. I could always just grow okra, let it go to seed, roast them, and grind it, and drink that. I think I'm going to switch over. I've got to make sure that the plant growing in my backyard is the right one. I'm like 90% sure, but it does have a cousin that I need to be careful of. And if it is Mormon tea, then I will probably switch to drink, because it's actually, Mormon tea is actually really good. It doesn't have caffeine in it. It does have a stimulant, but it works different than caffeine. Um, in some of mine, I may need to go get. I think my eyes have gotten far enough gone to where my glasses may not quite be right again. But the cluster headaches have not gotten better. They went away for a while, and then they came back. So I think the reason it was so bad last night, though, I think, is I messed around and got dehydrated. I think I had two, whatever they are. I will, Clifford. It's, and I think my hesitation right now is on them calling the same plant two different things. Something I've noticed, a lot of the resources you had for identifying edible plants and stuff, they've been taking the useful or edible or whatever information off of the applications. They're actually restricting information that could be quite useful. I pay for a subscription for an application. The reason I paid for it is because it's very good. It gave very detailed information after you identified it. And now the one category, the edible or unedible category, is gone from all of the descriptions. And I find that annoying. And you can do that pretty easy. There's two weeds that look really close to the same thing here. One of them's sheep sorrel and one of them's not. One of them's death chemist and one of them's not. If you bite into a daylily and you don't realize you've screwed up, that's your fault. Spit, rinse, spit, because just the juices is enough to mess you up. And that some of mine may be stress because I have not been able to prevent myself from following what's going on in the world, even though there's not a whole lot I can do about it. Find out more and more every day. TK, don't. Oh, come on. You ought to come here. Joe would pet you. I just said I don't recline me. Anyway, you're actually, I think the world's in a lot worse shape than any of us know. Is it flying me with that foot? Get a stick from your butt. Get that out. She knows me being nice to you. She wants me to take her in the kitchen and give her some milk. I don't know how she found out I had milk. She was leaving me alone until I brought that jug of milk home. like the climate change thing. I've been looking at both sides of the argument, the science, and see the thing is, you got to go somewhere towards the middle, because politics are involved on both sides, people, and I don't like where the middle of the road is on that stuff. Believe it or not, that's your worst case scenario. But we've got, what was the total number of livestock animals that were killed in China the other day from a flood? It was a high number. So that's funny, Chipper. Apparently, Rob is having no fun being in the room. His internet, but anyway, there's that one. Yeah, and that's, I mean, just do the things you can do. Focus on what you need to get done, as opposed to what you can't don't have any control over. And there's biblical precedence for that too. There's also biblical precedence for guys like me that don't listen to perfect good advice, even if it does come from themselves. Every chicken we put in that thing finds that one freaking spot. Oh, the leghorn? That chicken's been broke since day one. White leghorns don't go broody. They just don't. They're flighty birds. They're not friendly. You can't get close to them, yada, yada, yada. They scare easy, yeah, blah, 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 blah. We have a leghorn. She's not flighty. She's friendly. And now she's broody. Super weirded out by that. So she's obviously meant to be our chicken. We don't have a single normal animal on the place. We put in a fish pond and went and got several fish and dropped in there, and all the ones that swam forward died, and the only ones that stayed alive were the ones that swam backwards or upside down. It was weird. I'm gonna kill our rooster. He's too mean on the hens. So I've got to get a new rooster. Well, I got a replacement rooster already, but I'm gonna have to go through that whole getting the new rooster acclimatized to the ends, and the ends acclimatized to the new rooster. Still got people commenting on videos from way back in the day about chicken stuff or whatever, and just when these little feather baby people get in there and comment, you just want to smack them. You know they mean well, but the profit margin in chickens is very low. If you charge what a dozen eggs, truly free range, fresh farm raised free range chicken eggs, if you charge what those eggs are worth a dozen, people cannot afford to pay for them. It's that simple. I mean, it's you're looking at $8 to $10 a dozen, because you're constantly having to replace birds because of predation, disease, because for them to be free range, organic, blah blah blah, can't use antibiotics. You can't use pesticides. I mean, you know, you've got to do all this stuff. It's all this super extra pain in the butt work to maintain the health of your birds. You know, you can only buy certain kinds of feeds. I mean, you can feed the birds, but you can't feed them just anything. And then they said, well, you can't do this. I mean, they're always talking about, you need to have all this PPEs and this, that, and everything else every time you do something. Well, yeah, but if you have to change gloves every time you doctor a chicken, that's, that raises the cost of treating the bird from 10 cents to 45 cents. And the chicken's going to have to lay like 100 eggs to pay for that extra 45 cents. And because you can't, I mean, you get like $4 a dozen for those eggs. You can't charge $8. I mean, you can if you want to go to the, load up on them and take them to the city and whatever. But you've got to print these labels. You've got to have this, and you got to actually pay. How often do you have to pay for the certification for the organic eggs or whatever? It's stupid. It's like $225. In the paying for the certification is a whole lot cheaper than getting caught selling organic eggs that you don't have a stamp for. All these people around here selling them eggs and stuff don't realize that they are risking some big bucks. I want to build a solar water heater. They're not hard, honestly. It's actually a preheater, depending on how you do it. It's to take up a lot of room. So, They're and you got to disconnect them and winterize them during the winter, because, like, in the nighttime when it gets down to 20 degrees, there's no sun, and you wind up busting your pipes. I've actually dealt with solar water heater, not solar panels and solar powered hot water heater or water heaters, but solar water heaters. They only work when the sun's up. But if you've got a place to an insulated reservoir and it's a low volume pump, and you basically circulate the water from the storage tank through the deal. Wixie made one and used it to heat a swimming pool in Brownfield. It was super easy. It just used the swimming pool pump, and a lot of black holes. Yeah, you put it on the roof and bada boom, bada bing. It's you'd be surprised. It really doesn't take it that long to work on here in Texas. In the summertime, it doesn't take long for it to work at all. We raised the pool temperature yeah, it's a decent sized swimming pool. We raised the pool temperature 15 degrees because kept a solar blanket on it, but we could run it and it would keep the temperature. It would warm its own, but it wouldn't never get it quite to a point. But we could, whenever we turn the filter on or whatever, run it through that deal, and we could raise it took it about 8 hours to raise it 15 degrees, which the water was pleasant. It wasn't hot, but it wasn't like jumping in a cold deal. It was cool enough to cool you off still. And the thing about it is depending on how you insulate, there's some insulators that actually hold or not. They're you can store heat in the thermal mass in the storage deal, and so there's still heat in there even as you inject new water into the system. And if it's done slow enough, then the heat will transfer from the storage medium to the deal. They're bulky as crap, but it works. Yeah. Not everybody has the room for something like that. It's not really sustainable though, because unless you got filtered water going through it or whatever, it can get all junked up. But if you got the plumbing, the time, and the desire, you can make just about anything. That's how I like. That log cabin, whatever. I like he's always making junk out of or making stuff out of old stuff, and He's a very capable old dude. Hey, Trey. The thing about it is you could have a small, like a solar cell that would run the pump, honestly, the a little 12-volt deal. And if you're running 1-inch pipe and you got a 3/8 pump, that would probably be um, depending on the distance of travel through the 1-inch pipe or whatever, would be plenty. It did spend enough time in the heater. That's what I'm trying to say. Because that's the thing, you got it. The time spent in the pipe has to be sufficient for the solar energy to interact with the water. For efficiency. Eventually, in undisturbed sunlight, it would heat up eventually. Depending on the amount of surface area of the water thing you're trying to heat and dissipation and blah, 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 blah. Science stuff. That's when you have to break out the old calculator and do the BTUs and the surface area and some other fancy words for heat dissipation, radiation, thermal conductivity. Or you can just wing it. We just wing that swimming pool thing. Just wing it out what we're trying to do. Worked like a champ. You had to run the pump anyway for the filter, so it wasn't going to hurt to have a 3/4 inch line coming from the discharge side, making a circle and going back into the pool. There's that one little pool cover that had a hole sticking in it. It wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but it worked. That part of it. We could have made it better. We just wanted to go swim. I'm going to try to get some more water storage here. And try to get it set up, get it plumbed in to where I can actually use it easier. How's Mama Ezel doing, Trey? Did y'all see the Revolta man actually broke down and bought him a semi-automatic? I sent him a holster and he's still using his holster. He didn't like my holster. Very upset. There's a they're called insulated fire bricks, IFBs. If you can get a storage tank and then put the literally cover that thing in those IFBs. What is the R value of one of those things? I think it just clicks over to insane. It can be 1,500 degrees on one side of the brick, and you can put your hand on it. Like literally, it can be like that all day long. But he just never gets through it. That's not bad, Aaron. It's actually pretty good. Okay. If you've got it where you can, if you can seal the system where the coils are and run it in a vacuum, and then fill the vacuum with CO2, it's better. I think it's probably one of those deals. It was there, it was priced right, and he had the money in his pocket. Well, Trey, it's too hot for anybody in southern Mississippi right now, I would think. Y'all getting the rain down there like everybody else? I can finish this one and send it to him. But apparently I have to dye it black first. I have to he wants a retention holster. So I would have to start over. You can buy a retention clip. You can actually put retention clips in leather holsters. By the way. Also, he's using a medium to transfer the heat to the storage tank instead of circulating the water through the cell back into the tank. It's more advanced. That would be big. We just use the water flow and the flow restriction to allow the solar energy to go directly into the water, which has pitfalls, but it still works. But my voice is calm, and you need to seek some help, brother. Yeah. Hey, he's gonna be licking the glass at if you took him to academy or anywhere where he'd just be like laying on the glass counter, just drooling and stuff. Um, there's a lot of guys, Aaron, that put a lot of effort into trying to figure out how to make this solar to do stuff with solar, and it makes a lot. And that kind of stuff does actually make sense. I mean, it makes no sense to me to convert solar energy into electricity and then convert that electricity into heat to heat water. It's just insane. When you could transfer the energy of the sun directly into the water and achieve the same goal. Is if if you have to have hot water, more hot water in the evening, then have something that would um, what's the right word there? Uh, take up the slack. What's the right word for take up slack? Anyway, that sort of makes sense. Well, that actually makes sense. For whatever reason, you need to take a shower at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the water's cooling off a little bit. Um, but if you've got your storage vessel um, insulated, then downside to it is as you use it, there's ways to get around it, but it gets complicated and expensive, and that's the real thing. Is I mean, um, everybody wants it, everything for free. Did you get unstuck, Walter? That's one way to get brownie points is get stuck. Yes, it is. I mean, as far as efficiency goes, gas is on demand. Gas is I mean, that's it. You only heat the water you're using. The end. You're only using heat when you need the heat. It makes all sense in the world. But if you're trying to avoid burning fossil fuels and do stuff with solar, then you back down to the same. The only way that solar makes sense is the storage, and it's the storage is where they're not going to make the breakthroughs. They're not going to be able to make the breakthroughs in storage because the stuff it takes to make batteries is expensive. Long life, deep storage batteries are expensive. It's what even if you just went with lead acid batteries, a decent storage set of batteries would be not sufficient to run your whole house either. But you're probably looking at $1,800 worth of batteries that you're going to have to replace every 2 years. So you're not going to save any money. Now, granted, those batteries are recyclable, but the recycling is expensive. There you go with the cost going up. The biggest friend to clean energy is expensive energy. Because if energy is expensive, then you can afford to spend the money to produce it. And clean energy, real truly clean energy, is expensive. Well, except for, if you use the really clean energy, the low impact clean energy, that stuff, the nuclear energy. It's cheap, abundant, sustainable. You got that one thing where you got to keep those rods cool for a while before you get rid of them. But what if we got smart and finally figured out a way to build a space elevator, and then we could just take all those rods and take them into space and shoot them at the sun? We're going to be on the square throwing rocks at pedestrians tomorrow, right? I think that's what we're doing. Something like that, anyway. Hey, Sasquatch. Not 100% on throwing the rocks. That's what I want to do, but I think I got vetoed. I think they said we're trying to make friends, not be fiends. Which I find very limiting. Yeah, I got a sneaky feeling I need to get some firewood cut this year. I just got a sneaky feeling we're going to have more ice storms this season. This coming winter, I feel that we might be in for a cold, wet year. Yeah. That's just a feeling I have. I don't know if it's accurate or not. But if a guy is ready for a cold, wet year and doesn't have a cold, wet year, well, we just got extra wood for the following year. There you go. She come out to you, Sasquatch? What kind of wood do y'all put up there? I mean, what do y'all burn in your fire, in your wood stove and shit? I don't even know what y'all got to cut up there. I know there was a lot of people cutting a lot of um, trees and just burning them. Oh, that's the one, Abe. Oh, still debating on whether or not to put a stove in the living room. That's the way you do it. Well, if you're burning it in a stove, it really don't matter as long as it's not sooty. I don't guess. I burn piss in them in the fire. I don't care. Just got to clean the pipe. You know what's messed up is what I understand that like whenever they're clearing the storm debris and stuff, they won't let y'all cut the wood. Like you can't lop it into chunks and take it somewhere and then cut it up and sell it. It has to go to the dump. That just to me that's insane. Yeah, both camps, mine and Leland's, needs wood. Leland's out of wood. I've got some oak back there that if I could get it split, I could use it, but I can't split it. Nothing I've got. I've tried wedges and everything. Yeah, that's what they do with this stuff here. The storm debris here, they mulch it and give it away free. But I'm sitting there watching them put. They put oak, pecan, mesquite. They put everything through there. It's crazy. Yeah, they were trying to make a stove work at one of the camps over there, BTSR, and I was like, that's a coal burning stove. It's a little different. You can burn wood in it, but I'd still like to make some wood burning stoves. Everybody tries to make them. When the insurance companies got into the wood burning stove business, the efficiency of the wood burning stoves went to crap, plain and simple. Um, that stove is only going to make heat efficiently when there's a fire in it, when you have burning coals. The, this whole, you've got to have the fire brick and this and that so they'll absorb and then the heat will dissipate, blah, blah, blah. No, you want the heat actually making it from the fire into the house when the fire's burning. You want to heat up the thermal mass of the house so it can slowly release the heat back into the, not that other. Now that'd be, I'd love to be able to, like, yeah, it's, when I was a kid, it was weird. All the old ladies in our life, it's hard to think about that, but we had a lot of women that were already in their 60s. Um, that would babysit us and stuff like that. And anyway, they're they couldn't help it. The congregation point was the kitchen, and that all stemmed. If to listen to them talk and stuff, you understood that because they all came. They weren't from Texas. They were from the same part of the world as mom. They'd come over here because the economy had gone down anyway. They wound up in West Texas, and they were all widows. And anyway, birds of a feather flock together, kind of thing. But in the wintertime, everybody was in the kitchen when they weren't doing something else because the kitchen was the warm room. And um, if you had an upstairs bedroom, you hoped it was the bedroom over the kitchen. So, because that was going to be the warm room. Because the heat coming through the floor or through the ceiling was your floor. I used to love listening to them ladies talk about stuff. Yes, they would. Yep, there's a. Actually, I don't have the money for it, but there's a stove for sale. It's a wood stove, and it's actually got uh, uh, water cistern on the back of it that what the guy's got a brochure with it. Um, allowed for the uh, ready convenience of hot water or heated water. Basically, it was like a 10-gallon pot that stayed there, and it just um, there was just always hot water. There was another one you could buy that you could put in that was actually a tank that set around the stovepipe. There's they had all kinds of ideas back in the day. There's they people have always been trying to figure out how to make things easier on people in the kitchen because it's just a really good idea. This it always has been. That's where the food comes from. That's why. I mean, yeah, you could just go out there and you could smack a pig in the head and cut off a chunk of pork and eat it, but this is a whole lot better if you just like slaughter the pig, smoke it, and then take it in the house and let somebody else make like pork chops or something. Anyway, guys, I'm officially tired. So thanks for coming and hanging out with me. Yeah, with that, the house I grew up in wasn't insulated at all. Sadie, it's okay. But yeah, I'm gonna get off of here. I will probably see y'all Wednesday. See the next time. So, yeah. God bless y'all. Y'all still out on a keep me, mine, and well, let's pray for each other. It's just something we need to be doing. Okay? God bless y'all. I'll see y'all next time.